热爱生活，分享人生，欢迎收看本期的叶先生。Sorry，
烦死了！
热爱生活，分享人生。大家好，我是叶子叶先生，欢迎收看本期的节目。今天我们想聊一聊加拿大的这个教育体制。今天是第一次请到了一位嘉宾，也是我的 cousin。You understand what I'm talking about?
No, not
yet. 今天请到了我的一位 cousin 啊，这个 cousin 呢，他是一位老师，他现在在我们温尼伯的一所高中里面任教。那么我会尽量的翻译一下。Okay, so before we really start, please speak very slowly.
Okay.
Clearly.
I'll try.
And then use simple words as much as you can.
Okay.
So easier for me to translate later. Okay.
Okay.
所以后面我会把所有的对话内容翻译成中文字幕，大家可以看一看。Okay, first of all, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Douglas O'Brien. I'm a teacher at Vincent Massey, and I'm currently teaching grades 9 and 10 science in French immersion.
In French immersion, okay. So, lots of parents, especially Chinese parents, they've been asking me, or they've been talking about education with me.
Yeah.
They've been saying, you know, kids in China, lots of classes, lots of homeworks. But here, they are a little bit worried about their kids because they hardly have any homework.
Right.
What do you think about that?
So it kind of comes down to different teaching philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
And so similar to Finland, there are certain countries that provide less homework because they understand that students outside of school have lots of activities as well. And so instead of stressing students out by providing too much homework, they encourage teachers to find a balance, to provide enough homework to learn concepts covered in school, and to also provide downtime for students who need rest.
So if you don't have homework, which means you don't have enough practice, how you learn those knowledge?
So sometimes teachers will provide supplementary work, so they'll provide work that's kind of considered extra and won't necessarily count towards homework. So students who know that they're going to university that need to be better prepared, they can choose to do this work.
Okay, so that's a very good point. So right now we're going to hear. So Doug, Mr. O'Brien, I should call you. Mr. O'Brien, he said you provide some extra homework assignment for kids to do if they want to, if they are hoping to go to university in the future. So this is the thing. Does that mean teacher here don't really push the students? It depends on yourself.
Yeah, and every teacher is a little different too. So some teachers will push students harder. It also depends what classes you're teaching. So grade 9 and 10 science are required for all students to get a high school diploma.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I don't want to make it so that anyone fails my class and then can't get their high school diploma. So I have to try and balance making it easy enough for those students that don't actually want to do university to still get their high school diploma, because they might want to go into trades and they might want to become plumbers or something else. And then I also have to try and balance it for those students that choose to go into chemistry and biology and physics.
Okay, so this is very good point. So before I made a video about the 30 credit you have to get to graduate from high school, right?
Yeah.
So in Chinese culture, 在我们中国文化里面，这个数理化其实是非常非常非常重要的。So science in Chinese culture, the science courses are very very important for lots of parents. So science, including bio, physics, chemistry, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of kids, for example, if you don't like science, you want to be a musician.
Yeah.
So you still need that credit to graduate, to finish high school.
Right.
Have you heard about non-failing policy?
Yes, I have.
So are you doing the same thing? Like, let's say you are the teacher teaching grade 9, 10 science. So you know this kid, he's going to be a musician in the future. He wants to be a musician. So he's not bad. He behaved fine, but his score just very low.
Yeah.
You gonna let him pass?
So in high school, the non-failing policy doesn't really exist the same way as it does in elementary.
Yeah.
In high school, there are other programs sometimes for those students that have challenges learning the material. So there are different courses called adapted or even modified. Other times too, teachers will just provide a second opportunity to write a test to that student.
Yeah, so you will help them to pass.
So help them to pass. I don't necessarily give them a pass.
Okay.
So give them more opportunities, give them second chances. Not every student needs that.
That's already very nice, because in China we have lots of exams. If you fail the exam, no matter how hard you did to pass, it's done.
Yeah.
So 我在说这个高考的问题，如果一些很重要的考试，你如果不及格就是不及格了。So,我们住在一起住过很多年，所以我现在要聊一聊往事。We used to live together for like the first 3 years of my life in Canada. So you know how I told you in China, kids they have to carry lots of notebooks, lots of homeworks.
Yeah.
So that's the traditional way, the right way in China to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to there again. Yes. I was in the industry too. I went to grade 8, grade 7 classes before. Those kids, they can't even remember. In China, you have to memorize 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, those basic math thing. Grade 7, grade 8, they still can't remember that. Like for me, I feel like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I know the kid is not stupid, but how do you think about that?
So when I was going to high school or school, we did have to memorize those.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a good point.
my generation of students,
Me too.
we memorized those. And so there was a philosophy that kind of came along, a new teaching style, where it was more about understanding the numbers than memorizing the facts. And so I think now we're switching back to memorizing times tables because we've seen that it is an essential tool to being able to do well in math. So you still see some of these students that haven't memorized their times tables, but now we're going back to the system, I think, where there are certain things you do need to memorize.
Okay, so slowly we're going back. Oh, that's good to know.
Trying to find a balance in between the two.
Were you worried
styles.
when you see students like that?
I personally am, because math is where I
know, you are math guy,
that's the subject I like to teach. And even in science, these math skills come up in chemistry and in physics. So when you're dealing with fractions, if you don't know your times tables, it's very hard to be successful. And so I'm glad that we are going back to the point where we are having students memorize certain skills.
Yeah, so if you have kid, you're definitely gonna force your kid to memorize those things, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think lots of Chinese parents, when they hear this, they will be happy. Some teacher like you, these new things, there's basic things I think kids need to understand.
Yeah.